people joining. And Jamie is recording the meeting. So this is the HWIN, the first HWIN of 2023. And we're gonna have 4 this year, spread out over the year with different topics. Today, we're gonna talk about supporting clients with criminal justice involvement and supporting them in employment, specifically looking at employment services. So I think, what do you think, Jamie? Should we just have people do their intros in the text, in the chat box?
I think so.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that'll be easiest.
probably.
We've got almost 30 people. So
Yeah.
if you want to pull up the chat and just put in your name and the agency you work with, and if you're feeling up to it, tell us one thing you're looking forward to leaving behind in 2022. So I'll go ahead and put my name in here first to get us started. So Jamie also is going to do a poll because we're hoping that this meeting pulls together people from housing and people from workforce. So Jamie's going to put up a poll in just a couple minutes. And if you can quickly answer that, just to give us some data and information to look at.
And Morgan, one other thing I wanted to add is if you didn't get a direct invite for this meeting and you want to start getting invitations and information about the Homeless Workforce Integration Network meetings, as well as Homeless System of Care, we actually have a mailing list you can sign up for. So I'm going to drop that in the chat too. But I'm going to try and launch the poll. We'll see. Okay, is it showing for people?
Yes, it's showing
Okay,
for me.
Great. So go ahead and answer it. I'm going to leave it up for a few minutes, for a minute or so. Okay, so it looks like we've got.
Somebody said they're looking forward to leaving behind negative thinking in 2022 and COVID. That's
Yes.
a good one. I agree with that. And procrastination. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I need to leave that behind as well.
Chaos, yes. Okay. Anybody else want to fill out the poll? It's going once, going twice. Okay, I'm going to end the poll and then share it. It's actually a pretty even split, which is unusual. I think in years past. Yes, in last year, we often saw more homeless than workforce, and I think this is a really great balance. So we just always like to kind of see who's here. Awesome.
Yeah. So anybody who answered other, what department, what do you find yourself falling under? Does anybody want to share? Maybe education. I see we have someone from Liberty Adult School, so maybe education.
Yeah, reentry.
Reentry.
Yeah, reentry services, just serving a population that is kind of vulnerable to recidivism, and you know, it's difficult to get out and engage and embrace the outside world when you've been kind of like dormant for a while. It's like I always kind of equated to jump roping, and you know, kind of double dutch, trying to get in while the you know, the rope is going. You got to get in and get out without, you know, tangling up in the rope. So that sometimes can be difficult. And so with the barriers and all that, then also the mindset and the you know, the state of you know, a person's well-being and welfare is always challenged through that process, and trying to turn a mistake into something that's more healthy.
Exactly. Wow. So Ronell's going to be one of our speakers today. So he's going to be able to share a lot more information with us. And we also have Tiffany Anaya. She's the lead reentry coach at Reentry Success Center. Ronell's the field operations coordinator with Health Right 360. And then we have Glorabel Pastrana, the business services manager with Rubicon programs. So they're all going to speak, you know, to these challenges and maybe possibly some solutions or connections between employment and people who have experienced the criminal justice system involvement or experiencing reentry. We probably have we're going to spend about an hour doing presentations. So everybody will have about 20 minutes to talk and take questions. If you want to put questions in the chat, or definitely after our guests finish giving their presentations, it'll be great to have a conversation about it and see what kind of issues you're facing. So I'm going to, Jamie, unless you have anything else, or Maureen, I'm going to pass it to Tiffany.
Thank you, Morgan. Good afternoon, everyone. As previously shared, my name is Tiffany Anaya, and I'm the lead reentry coach for the Reentry Success Center. And thank you for inviting us, Jamie and Maureen, to speak on the challenges that our community members face while integrating back into the community and, you know, also getting back into the workforce. And for some of our community members who've never been a part of the workforce, have held a job. So fortunately, we are here to serve those members and support them through the process. I think the biggest thing for someone who's returning home from a county jail, a California state prison, treatment facility, or even integrating back into the community out of lifestyles or out of the streets, the biggest piece is immediate stabilization. And of course, the center always addresses our community members with a welcome home approach, because we realize that the emotional state of someone, you know, there's a number of things that an individual could be experiencing while integrating back into the community. And we just really want to address the person prior to, you know, any paperwork or pushing our own agenda on someone. When someone can be experiencing fear, isolation, and just have a lot of post-traumatic stress from their time, either incarceration or addiction or in the streets. And the center is just, you know, wants to hear from the individual and get to know them, because it can be challenging to fill out paperwork or to be put in a box when you're facing, you know, or experiencing these emotions, you know, and you're also excited and experiencing freedom while you're going through this emotional state. And aside from the emotions, you know, our community members are in need of benefits. Of course, everyone needs medical coverage, something to eat, and a little bit of cash in their pocket just to get by day to day. In addition to documentation, you know, our community members need their IDs. They need social security cards before they can even access benefits, services, housing, employment. And when you are integrating from an institution or the streets, you may not have your birth certificate, or you may not, a lot of our members were not California residents prior to being sentenced, and they're released to California where they've never had a California ID and they do not have a California ID number. So unfortunately, you know, something we're able to support with is notaries with the prison ID, so that someone can get their birth certificate, so that they can get a California ID before they can even apply for some public benefits or access services from one of our partner agencies that require documentation in their intake forms, which can be a barrier before we even get to employment or education, which of course they will need documentation at that time as well. So we definitely, you know, want to provide immediate stabilization. We want to ensure that our members' emotional state is addressed. We want to ensure that all of our members have documentation. And of course, we want to ensure that our members do have benefits prior to getting their documentation. luckily there are partnerships in place where we can support our members with getting connected to medical coverage, food stamps, or cash assistance prior to waiting 2 weeks before getting their birth certificate, so that then they can wait another 2 weeks to get their ID. So then they can maybe go connect to some services or some resources. And as we all know, this is a very crucial time where someone can easily, fall through the cracks and possibly recidivate, relapse, or even much worse. In addition to the medical coverage, the public benefits, the documentation, someone could be facing some behavioral health challenges. So if someone has some addiction with some type of substance, we would want to address that before we start pushing them towards employment. And that's also part of the immediate stabilization, in addition to any mental health. If someone has some severe mental health going on, it may be easy to get a job, but keeping the job. So we definitely want to make sure that our community members are healthy and able to connect to services, participate in education and training, or integrate back into the workforce. So definitely addressing our members' immediate needs and providing immediate stabilization, and also being well aware that our community members can already have some shame associated with their experience, or even maybe their lack of gap of employment or work experience or training, education, and also already feeling isolated, because we all know our community members that are justice impacted oftentimes are shut out based on their background from housing, training, education, or even participating in parental activities with their children. And just by knowing that the center and reentry coaches are able to provide positive regard and really connect these community members to our community here, which is a support system, because a lot of our community members, don't have family, significant other, or really any positive force in their life to encourage them to apply for that job, go on that interview, or just provide that support that a lot of us do have when we are trying to, go for that job, or really just go for that opportunity. So it's important for our community members to have support system and community in place to really lift them up and encourage them to go for those opportunities that they do, very much deserve. And once we get through the, a stabilization piece, of course, there's barriers to actually the act of looking for employment, right? Some of our members have been away for 25, 30 years. So, from being a highly skilled individual where you could just walk in and talk or show your skill, now everything is online, not just technology, even COVID, there's so many barriers, and some of our community members may have stipulations where they can't actually have an email account or access a laptop or a smartphone. I don't know if any of you on the call can possibly imagine submitting an online application with having a stipulation by a parole agent or probation officer that you cannot have an email address, you cannot have a laptop or smartphone in your possession, and it's also part of your stipulation of your community supervision that you're to get a job. Luckily, a reentry coach, is able to really support our members, and we will use our own email address and our own equipment and submit the applications for our members and communicate the back and forth of the I-9 paperwork, your interviews on this day and time. Now you have a second interview, and we have had success with individuals with those stipulations, getting employment, and now, promoted, having company vehicles and other things like that. And it's just to speak to the barriers outside of just having a background, that it can be to, access employment, training, other much needed services. And also just, that morale, that for someone believing in you. We all know what that can do, make or break an interview, or even being able to reflect on an interview with a reentry coach or someone in your community, or even maybe in a men's group or a women's group. You have a space, a safe space that you can express the feelings that you're going through while trying to access these much needed opportunities. And also, you know, we can have community members who, you know, this job can really make or break whether I'm going to be back in the streets. If I'm back in the streets and I don't have anywhere to sleep, then I'm going to violate my parole or my probation. And, you know, that can also cause us to think of other ways to, you know, get an income. And that can also lead to recidivism. And it's so important to lift up our justice impacted community members and close the gaps. You know, really push them through all of the services and push them that much farther along in their journey so that they are not feeling isolated or shamed due to their background for one mistake, which, you know, everyone makes and maybe just everyone is not reprimanded for. In addition to our community members going through the process of even catching up with technology, you know, there's also this sense of urgency to play catch up. You know, you've been out of family members' lives, children's lives, society's life, not paying taxes, not being in the workforce. It can cause a lot of anxiousness for our community members, and it's really important to promote like life balance, to also allow time for themselves to heal, connect to support groups, and do things that really benefit and heal themselves while, you know, trying to get what other employment they can, which oftentimes are the most laborious jobs, or 2 and 3 jobs, just to get by what the average individual without a background would not be willing to do, or would seem like unlikely. And are just impacted community members oftentimes are exploited to those conditions because of their background, because they are limited to, or they think they are limited to those types of opportunities or career paths. There's also things around, you know, doing good and success, taking a few steps forward and a few steps back. Sometimes just the excitement and the anxiousness of having a job and doing good. It's really important for our community members to stay connected and be lifted up during this time, just to process the emotions or the things that can be going on. You know, after being gone for so long, we're not having an income, and now all of a sudden we have an income. If for some reason our community members are triggered to old activities, behaviors, or addictions, you know, we also want to ensure that there's support systems in place and resources available, so that, you know, an opportunity isn't lost or able to take advantage of. So we definitely want to continue to stay connected to our community members and support them retain the job. Luckily, you know, there's 3 divisions of Rubicon. So here at the Reentry Success Center, we really focus on immediate stabilization, and then we can refer out through our community-based programs, where a community member can get connected to an impact coach, employment coach, career coach, wellness coach, and from there, you know, when ready, can get connected to our workforce division and then get connected to a career path. So there's definitely many stages. I think the biggest thing for justice impacted community members is not to put our community in a box, because, you know, one process doesn't fit everyone. And that's what we're really big at here at the center, is really customizing and meeting our community members where they're at and generating a plan based off their priorities and their needs. Since we are not solely employment focused, you know, we can support someone who really is uncertain what they want to do and they just want to be engaged in something and access the safe space. So we do support our members with goals of family reunification, legal services, education and training, employment, and much more. That's pretty much our challenges that we see and we face with our members in workforce. And luckily, we're in a unique position as the hub reentry services of all of West Contra Costa County that we can refer our community members to array of community-based organizations and agencies that can provide resources and services to meet their needs or address any barriers that there is at hand. The Reentry Success Center is located in downtown Richmond, and we operate Monday through Friday, 12 hours a day, 8:30 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. We are also open on Saturdays from 8:30 to 5, and we hold office hours from 10 to 2. We focus on 8 domains of service. Our 8 domains of service are legal services, family benefits, education and training, employment supportive services, public benefits, and we really focus on community building and health and wellness. And as previously mentioned, we're really big at just meeting our community members on positive regard, no matter where they're at in their journey. And we understand that sometimes our community members don't necessarily get it the first, second, or sometimes third time around. We have multiple partner agencies that hold office hours on site. We have Contra Costa County Alcohol and Drug on site every Tuesday and Thursday, where our substance abuse counselor, Ms. Antonia Fernandez, is available to really support our members with navigating that access line, where they can access detox, inpatient, outpatient, medicated assistance treatment services. We also have Contra Costa County Behavioral Health on site every Wednesday, and sometimes our clinician will pick up hours on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, really just to meet our needs, and our community members are able to come and access mental health services here at our site versus going into a medical setting or probation, which is a lot more comfortable for our members to share and be vulnerable to work on the things that really need to be addressed. We also have legal services on site on a monthly basis. Bay Area Legal Aid holds office hours every 4th Monday of the month from 12 to 2. And we also have our reentry health conductors on site every Friday from 9 to 12, where our community members can get connected to public benefits. They can get appointments scheduled at West County Health Clinic or Pittsburgh Health Clinic, depending on where they're returning to, and get connected to physical or mental physician through that route as well. And the Reentry Transitions Clinic also hold a reentry support group called Remedy, Reentry Making Everyday Yours, here at our office on Fridays. In addition to our partners that hold office hours, we also have support groups. Every Monday night from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. we have a women's support group. And this, all of our groups are hybrid at this time, so community members can come to our site, which we do support with transportation and participate, or someone can sign in via Zoom. Women's group is very special. It's really where we have a sisterhood. Both community members and staff really come together and discuss challenges on a week-to-week basis, and we also discuss, what we call what's blooming, what's coming in on the horizon. We really manifest things and check in on a weekly basis. We definitely have a curriculum where we talk about, various social skills and topics and things that women deal with. And we also have activities. We break bread. We have raffles. And sometimes if one of our community members has something that's really weighing on them, we'll just grab the agenda and really just hear that individual out, and they will receive encouragement or support from the rest of the community in that space. And that's very special. In addition to the women's group, of course, we have a men's support group on Friday nights from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Our men's group is very similar. It's a gender-specific support group where young men up to, they call it the OGs, are able to come together and really just share wisdom and share knowledge. Either, someone's currently going through it, someone's already gone through it, they're also going through it. And, you can share how you process and you handle it, and I can process how I handle it. And, I can kind of gauge whether I'm doing a good job handling my situation. I don't want to take your advice, or that's a good thing. Maybe I might try that the next time this arises. And our men's group has also adopted the community green space across the street from our office on McDonald and Harbor Way. Every third Saturday of the month. This month it'll be the 18th from 10 to 2. Our men's group comes together and really beautifies the space, gives back to the community in the form of raking, mowing the grass, picking up the leaves, picking up all the trash and debris in the community green space. And what started as the men's group has really expanded to the women's group. Well, why can't we help? We can come out and clean up too. And now it's just a center, it's a community event. We have community members bringing their significant others, their children, their dogs. Really, everyone comes out on the third Saturday of every month and beautifies the space. We break bread and fellowship, and it's really nice to hear our community members volunteering their time on a Saturday, giving back to the community that they once have harmed, whether it be, through drugs or violence. It feels good, and it's a healing, community building way to give back to the community. And our community members have really enjoyed this program. Has really expanded to us even painting the fence and doing other things to the space outside of just maintaining it on a monthly basis. We also are really big on restorative practices and principles here at the center. We have a restorative arts program every Wednesday night from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. So tonight at 5:30, we'll be having art. Again, this is also a hybrid model. So our community members can come here and participate in art. We do provide all of the art supplies, and our members are able to create individual pieces, which end up combining into a group piece, which are decorated throughout the center. If you all have ever been to this center, you've seen the art that our community members have made through the Restorative Arts program. And if you haven't been, definitely would like to invite you to tour the center and see the art displayed. We definitely have a lot of artists within our community. In addition to our arts, we also have a restorative circle on Thursday nights from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. And restorative arts is restorative circle is a community healing circle and really focuses on community building and healing one to their authentic self prior to any crime, lifestyles, addictions, incarceration, and other things. So the restorative programs are also very popular here at the Reentry Success Center. In addition to our evening programs, we also have a monthly community activity night. Our next community activity night actually will be March 28th. And this is going to be a talent show. Richmond's Got Talent. A lot of our community members enjoy spoken word, sharing art, singing, karaoke. We're going to have a lot of raffles and dinner. So this will be from 5:30 to 7:30 for our members, and we're really looking forward to it. We're going to have prizes and lots of other fun things going on for that night. I think for the individuals that are not into karaoke, we're going to play like Name That Tune. So definitely something for everyone. We've done other things like paint night and game nights. We've had various community nights, and it's really not about any of the services. We just have a safe space and have fun with our community members. We also have a comprehensive program called Alpha. Alpha is a core program, which is a 9-week program based on Thinking for Change curriculum. And T4C really focuses on social skills, cognitive self-change, and problem-solving skills. This program is 9 weeks long, daily, Monday through Friday from 9:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Lunch is provided, and it is stipend. So our community members do have the opportunity to earn up to $450 over the course of 9 weeks, and they do receive 8 certificates of completion and participation from our partners who facilitate curriculum as well as the matrix.
Wow, that is so much stuff, Tiffany. That's amazing. So I see Jasmine just posted that individuals can walk in or be referred by email info@reentrysuccess.org. And Glorabel posted the address on McDonald Avenue in Richmond. Wow. So it comes to my mind, I have several clients that I think would greatly benefit from your services. And that's just amazing. Is there on your website a list of all these different programs?
Yes, we do have a website with a monthly calendar on it. Our website is reentrysuccess.org. We're also on Facebook and Instagram where we post reminders and upcoming events and groups. So you can also connect with us there. All of this information is on our website. And again, if any of you would like to come to the Reentry Success Center for a tour, we would be more than happy to have you.
Oh, I would like to. I would love to come for a tour. That would be fantastic. So I think we're gonna go to our next speaker, Ronell Ellis, Field Operations Coordinator for Health Right 360. And then when we get to the end of the program, we can, talk about what's been shared, all the information, and ask questions. Unless someone right now has a pressing question for Tiffany. She really gave us so much information.
I can also respond to questions in the chat and I'll provide my email address. You all can also feel free to reach out to me at any time if you'd like additional information or if anything else comes up for you. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
That would be great. Yeah, if you add your email address and the website, that would be fantastic. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to pass off to Ronell. Thanks for coming, Ronell.
Thank you for having me. And good afternoon, everyone. Most folks are here transferred from the other WIN meeting, so it might be some duplicate items that I'll talk about, but also just trying to approach it from a layman's term. I will say I might not be as long as Tiffany. Tiffany is like a champion. She can go. She can go. So you might experience me being a little bit shorter. But I'll try to, let me see if I can share my screen. So I'll just go ahead and run through a little slide because there are some folks who are on this WIN meeting that was not on a previous one. Contra Costa Reentry Network, a program of Health Right 360 with a managing entity that provides services for the reentry network. And we call it the network because once someone is connected to us, we basically try to get them connected to all the services that are available to them in the county. Who is Health Right 360? Health Right 360 was originally the Walden House Substance Use Treatment Center over in San Francisco, who combined with Haight-Ashbury Free Clinics. Haight-Ashbury Free Clinics was a free medical clinic in the city of San Francisco that was founded in 1967. Walden House was founded in 1969. They merged in 2012 and basically combined this umbrella of services to make sure that the populations in that city and surrounding cities were being serviced. There was a lot of funding being cut in a lot of areas, and those services didn't want to be, ousted. So they joined forces and then connected with several other entities. It's probably, I think, 17 agencies under our umbrella that we operate all over the state of California. So we're kind of not necessarily new, but sort of new to Contra Costa County over the last 7 years. The Reentry Network, we're here to make a difference. Our mission, our vision, we basically try to connect with anyone we can assist in this county to make them productive. And that we don't want to shove services down folks' throat. We want to engage in what they want to do and promote that. So we want folks to come to us, let us know what they want to do, and then we assist them in how to make that happen in their lives so that they can be successful in doing something that they want to do, not something we want them to do, whether it be probation or, you know, citizens or parents or whatever it may be. We really want to tap into the greatness of what folks think they can do, and then, you know, get them to generate that motivation and make those things happen in their lives, and not give them some script to read. We want them to do the things that they want to do. The population that we serve is basically the formerly incarcerated. Probation, parole, we basically do, we provide services for AB 109 participants. We help everyone in the county. If they came from another county, but they live in this county, we'll service them. If they walk up, we'll service them. If they're probation referral, we'll service them. If they're self-referral, we'll service them. If their family member called us, we'll service them. So that's who we serve. We basically serve everybody. We also have a mentorship program, SUD treatment, mental health, things of that nature. Our map of our participants that we serve in the county is from Martinez all the way to Discovery Bay. So Oakley, everywhere in between, the other corridor over in Danville, whoever is in between Martinez and Discovery Bay, we will service those folks. And that is our coverage area. Our entry points are, like I said, probation is our #1 referral agency. They have a direct way to refer to us with a push of a button, and all the services that they want to get to us can be provided through that button, basically. We connect with those individuals within 48 hours of a referral, and basically get them connected and intaked, find out what their needs are, and then go to work at that point. And the needs can vary, you know, a lot similar to what Tiffany talked about stabilization. Some folks come to us with absolutely nothing. Some folks have no working skills, no even people person skills. Sometimes we have to coach folks from, you know, a very layman's area to another place where they can be communicative and engage in conversations with folks. Being incarcerated can really affect and impact the ability to communicate with the outside world. There's a culture inside institutions, and sometimes you can communicate that way, but when you get out, it's a very different world that you have to operate and navigate. And so sometimes that can be difficult and challenging for our participants. No wrong door sites. We feel like anywhere you go in this county, you should be able to get linked to us. No wrong door sites. That could be a you know, clergy, a church. It could be a grocery store. It could be other partners and providers, probation, parole, the library. Anywhere you go in this county, you should be able to get connected to us. We have a far-reaching, basically outline for all the things that we do. So we have, we make sure we go into all areas of the county and make sure that those connections can be made through anywhere you go into. So there is no wrong door you go in to try to get services in the county. Again, other CBOs, community outreach centers, and also self-referrals. You don't have to be formally referred to us. A person could do it themselves too by calling us a dry call or walking up to the door if necessary. Basically, partner collaboration and management, client management. We have some things we do here at the office. We have the bigger picture workshop series. That's something I facilitate myself. We have a reentry faith initiative that works with the clergy in the county. We have monthly reentry partners and providers collaborative meetings. We're doing our resource fair this month on the 23rd. We sent all that out to our partners and providers to table at that resource fair. It's a really big resource fair. It's pretty popular, and it kind of went dormant because of COVID, but we're back. This is going to be the first one since COVID, and we look forward to servicing and having fun with our partners and providers. I'll make sure that happens with some fun at the event. I will be also doubling as a DJ at that event too. So we'll have some fun, some music, provide some resources for all the participants that come up. We'll be doing haircuts there on the spot, and everybody will be there for the most part. I think we have almost 50 providers that will be at that event on site. We do also system-wide trainings for other partners and providers here in the county. Again, just basically a lot of things that we provide, kind of going over some things, mentor navigators. We do have a pool of mentors in the county that want to help folks coming out of incarceration, and we link them with vetted and also matched mentors that have businesses and stuff in the area that want to give back to those who have been down that path, who they might have been down that path themselves and want to reach out, provide jobs or just mentorship to others. We have a service for that. The Community Reinvestment Grant, the CRG, we just obtained a year ago. And so now we are able to provide mental health treatment and substance use disorder treatment here at our location. However, those services do go out into the field because that's our, basically our motto is to go out into the community and meet individuals where they are. So we don't do a lot of work here in the office. We go out to where our participants are. So the mental health treatment can come to you and go out in the community and make sure that the services are being provided for those individuals who maybe can't get to us. So if transportation is a barrier or something like that, and it's difficult, or you're homebound, or whatever it may be, our clinician, our licensed clinician will come to the individual and provide services and cognitive behavioral groups as well. Also, we have healing circles, relapse prevention groups, and recovery support through an AOD licensed counselor here at the facility and in the community. When you can see us, basically 8:30 to 5, but we can be contacted. Charmaine Hoggett is our managing director. We're here located in East County in Antioch on Lone Tree Way near Hillcrest. We have some groups scheduled every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursdays, 10 to 11:30, also 1:15 to 2:45. Those are healing circles and also AOD groups. This is our team. A lot of you are familiar with my colleague, Michael Pitts. He's the short guy, I'm the tall guy. So if you know Michael Pitts, he's really short. So that's Charmaine. Andrea Lopez is our administrative coordinator. You'll probably be contacting her for a lot of things that may not be specific to a field operations coordinator. And then you can run anything through Andrea Lopez. This is our contact. We also have an app. So this barcode, I forgot what you call it, but this, you can scan this and it'll get to all the services in the county. So a lot of you who are not really familiar with that app, it also has a lot of your contacts on it too. So not just ours, but we designed it so a person who can get to that app will be able to get to all the services in the county. And a lot of information is on there. I'm gonna stop sharing. So I just went through that just for those who may not have been on the other WIN meeting. I'm a formerly incarcerated person myself, so I've been out a long time. So I've been out 30 years, but when I first got out, it was very difficult for me to succeed. I had a bunch of challenges and obstacles. So I know how difficult it is And what we try to do is really give folks who come out of incarceration to really hone in and concentrate on the basics, right? Don't put too much pressure on themselves, and don't put the cart before the horse. It's easy to come out here and kind of get fixated on what you've been doing all this time, or what you've been missing, how you haven't been able to provide for your family, the fact that you just haven't been participating in life for your loved ones and for yourself. So it's important that we understand that you can't make up for lost time. Those days won't ever come back, but what you can do is affect the future. And so we can't control our thoughts, but we can control our actions, trying to get in a different mindset. I know for myself, committing crimes was like routine. And so when I got out, a lot of those habits were still there, right? You kind of train the eye to look for things. You kind of, your habits that you created prior to incarceration, a lot of those things resurface once you're released. And we all know that it's not always a perfect situation when folks are released. A lot of times we don't have housing, we don't have education, we don't have a work history. Some folks like myself, I had basically never held a job for the most part prior to incarceration. So getting out, it wasn't like, oh, you just need to get back to working. No, it wasn't no getting back to, it was starting. So and you kind of teaching somebody how to navigate and operate in a new life. So let alone embracing that change and trying to receive that information. So it can be overwhelming at times. And I experience folks in my workshops sometimes who've been gone a long time, and some of them will even make statements as to it seemed like it's a lot easier if I just go back to prison. And we never want to hear that from a person. We know that being free is always the best option and the best place for a human being. But we do have folks who don't necessarily know how to process those feelings or emotions or thoughts because they had everything under control. We know that it's kind of like a flipped reality. So everything that's normal has become abnormal for an incarcerated individual, and everything that's abnormal is normal. So being locked up becomes normal. Being free becomes abnormal. So you're hitting a roadblock as you get released. You should be happy and excited, but not everybody is that gets released. So sometimes we face with a challenge that's basically intangible. If they're not speaking on it, we don't know that they're experiencing these different types of emotions or thought processes. So it's a lot of work that has to go into it to encourage and motivate a person to see themselves in a different light. It's not always common that a person is going to just accept the fact that they're free, and the new life has to be really repetitioned to obtain a normalcy, right? They have to have some time out here. They have to do a few things. As Tiffany said, once you get some kudos, that feels good. You get a pat on the back for something when everything else in their life has been pretty negative. So it's a long road. It's a long road, and good thing that we have agencies like all of ours that understand most of those things. But even with us trying to do the work, there are areas that are difficult to tap into with individuals formerly incarcerated. And a lot of times it bothers me too, because I know the feeling, and it's not an easy one to shake. It really isn't. And when I hear that from individuals, it's really painful. So another thing that I try to really focus on too is the allegory of the cave. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that term or that philosophy, but it's something that Plato came up with, and it's regarding if someone has been in a cave for a long time, that's what they think is real. And you can let them out, and they'll convince you that the outside is fake. And that the shadows they see in the light, all of that's real because they've been seeing shadows the whole time. So it's a tough one. It's a tough one when your reality has been distorted or changed, or has been, flipped in a way where you believe that the things you're doing in incarceration is the way the world works. So I just wanted to tackle some of that because Tiffany talked about a lot of stuff they're doing over there at Success Center. They handle the West, we handle the East. We collaborate, we partner. And so she spoke about a lot of the services, and we get that piece. All of us are providing services, but I just want to speak on some of the incarceration part, the psychological and the mental aspect, along with the physical, that you have to follow some kind of philosophy. So basically, we ask some folks to put down their philosophy and pick up a new one. So that's about it. I don't want to go any farther because we got somebody else to speak and time is going. So I appreciate you all for your attention and your concern and for our folks' welfare. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Ronell. That was really interesting and informative. And I like that balance between what Tiffany presented with the direct services and your interpretation of what the people are experiencing and who are coming to you. There's one question in the chat: if you serve clients from other counties such as Alameda, or is it strictly Contra Costa?
It's Contra Costa. If someone is in jail in any other county and they're returning here to reside, we serve them. If they're from this county and they go to jail somewhere else and return to this county, we serve them. But if somebody's from this county and they go to reside in another county, we're really obligated to serve those who reside in the county. You could be from anywhere else, but if you come here after post incarceration, we can serve you.
Great, thank you so much. And if anybody wants to put some questions in the chat, I'm gonna say Ronell will be happy to answer them, or he gave all his contact information to follow up with them. So we're gonna pass on to our last speaker, Glorabel, Business Services Manager at Rubicon. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Last but not least, and how do I follow that? So much great information. So a lot of what I did hear and what I did notice as both presentations were going is a lot of the services may be similar, but they all work in conjunction with each other. And that's what I want to kind of focus on. I'm going to give a little bit of a bird's eye view. I do concentrate on workforce development. However, that all ties into the program at large, right? And supporting the reentry population. So one of the great things that my department, which I'm going to highlight Tanya, who's on the call, Michael, who's on the call, Covarrubias, as well as Maria, they are all part of the business services team. And we are a shared service. So we get to work with Tiffany in the Reentry Success Center. We get to work with all three offices for the Rubicon Foundations program, which is out of Richmond, Concord, and Antioch. And we get to work with the WIOA program at the various sites that it's at. So we get to see a little bit of everything, right? So we get this unique perspective of Rubicon and other services within Contra Costa and Alameda County. And how we partner. So I'm gonna try to highlight some of those and how it's supportive for our reentry population, for those in the community that we service. I'm gonna start with our foundations program, and again, I'm gonna highlight even more people because I did invite Martin and Maya, Martin Carrillo and Maya Garcia, who are the career advisors out of the Richmond and out of the Antioch site, and that was just to make sure that I didn't miss anything, to be honest. They do such great work that I did not want to leave anything out. And so part of the foundations program, there's two ways of qualifying, one of which is being AB 109, part of the AB 109 population. And the secondary portion is through our FACT program, which is for single parents of children under the age of 18. It's a 2-week course, which includes support through finances. So basically, do you have a bank account? What do your finances look like? What does your credit report look like? Do you have a budget? If you were to have a job, do you know, how to budget your funds so that you can successfully thrive throughout the month, right? Are there any community programs that you are, sorry, county programs that you qualify for, such as SNAP, so food assistance, or a GA or anything like that, right? Also, free tax services are provided through our finance department. We have wellness, who also makes sure that folks have connection to Medi-Cal, and do they need an eye doctor? Do they need dental services? Are they, if they don't have access to insurances, how can we connect them to free services within the community that they can attain services from? We have parenting, and that's through partnership with Centerforce. And they're here on site, and they provide, as part of the program, support in reconnecting with children and family members, strengthening the family. I believe there's even couples counseling. They're entitled to one couples counseling, and that's to stabilize the family. And I believe there's also resources that tie into directly to child support, and things of that nature. So encompassing parenting and all that entails. Then, so I'm trying to think, oh, how can I forget the ICs? There are quarterbacks. They're the ones that work closely with our participants to basically assist in identifying any barriers and the resources that may assist in removing those barriers. If you've ever heard my spiel, that is the biggest thing. Then what I consistently say is all of these programs are literally here to assist in removing any barriers that come in the way of successfully moving forward and having sustainable employment, right? And all that entails. We also have legal services, an entire legal team that provides services such as, what is the word I'm looking for? When you if you have misdemeanors or anything like that, so you could remove them from your
Expungement.
Thank you. See, that's why I brought a team. So expungement. So we provide services for expungement. Also, there's some times where our participants may apply to a position and be denied. And there's no actual reason or rhyme or reason to it, because the position does not correlate with whatever is in their criminal background. So sometimes our legal team will step in if need be and say, excuse me, let's appeal this, because that is not legal, first of all. Second of all, that's not right. So how can we move forward with this? And we have successfully won some appeals and gotten people placed into the employment that they went after being hired, because they were let go illegally. So there's that aspect as well. Let's see, am I forgetting anything in regards to foundations? Martin, Maya?
I think you mentioned this, but our connection to certifications that will allow them to obtain a higher living wage. So we often connect people to getting their guard cards as well as their TWIC cards. We also pay for OSHA 10 certifications, forklift certifications, things that can help them immediately upskill. And so we don't just provide the service or the certification, but we also provide external support services for that. So transportation to those events there and back, a meal for those events each day that they're a part of it. And so we really try our best to think of helping them as an entire person, not just for the actual certification, but thinking in advance of different things that could possibly prevent them from succeeding in obtaining that certification. That was it.
Perfect. And no, I did not say that part. So you covered all the hard skills that we provide. And in providing those hard skills training, we also connect to employment that directly correlate with those trainings. One of the other things that can be provided if we co-enroll into other programs such as our WIOA program. A lot of you were on the previous call, so you got to hear Lubna's presentation of WIOA. So co-enrollment into WIOA would then allow for additional funding for any training that the person may want to go into. For example, one of the most popular trainings that I have seen in regards to folks that are coming from the reentry population would be their Class A driver's license, so that they could get into logistics and transportation, making a good wage and earning benefits and all of that, regardless of, you know, what the history is. So that's one of the most popular that I've seen. Let's see what else. So, and then within WIOA, it's not solely just the funding, but it's also employment services. So on top of having an IC, an impact coach, and all the other coaches that were listed, you now have a WIOA career coach, which supports with employment services and access to the business service team. We all know that, you know, being in school and getting certifications is not for everybody. I'm one of those people that I need to learn hands-on by actually practicing and doing. So one of the things that our team focuses on is providing on-the-job training opportunities for those that qualify within the WIOA program. So we identify employers in our community, both Contra Costa and Alameda County. Maria can confirm this. We have over 50 partners total that are part of the OJT programs. And what we do is we connect those that are maybe missing a few skill sets in order to attain an employment in a specific field. And we support the employer by providing subsidies or reimbursements, I should say, for those for the training period of up to 520 hours. So what that does is not only are we supporting the participant by providing supportive services, like what type of clothing do you need? What type of, are there special tools that you need to start this type of employment? But we also support the employer by providing reimbursements for that training period because they may have to take extra steps to train that individual. We also provide coaching during that period. There may be things that we can say that the employer cannot. And trust me when I say I have gone into mama mode many times and speaking with our participants and assuring or redirecting their energies when it comes to the employment that they've now attained, because these employment placements are permanent. It's not just a training. The training period is that, and then once that is over, they are permanently employed with that employer. And so with the OJTs, it's all through WIOA, and in order to qualify for WIOA, what do you need to be a part of the priority population? And being part of the reentry population automatically qualifies you. As long as you show proof of ID and proof of social security, that's it. That's all you need. Let's see. I'm trying to think of any other. Oh, what I can say is we do have other programs that are also highlighted in Alameda, which is through our CPEP program, which Maria handles, and that does provide supportive services, but that goes through CalWorks. So we have our hands in a lot of different programs, but the ones that specifically support reentry population, I would say would be foundations. Any questions? I know I talk fast. So, any questions? I'm going to put flyers into the chat that will include, if you have a participant that would like to access Rubicon programs, have them give us a call so that they can go through an assessment process. And I'm going to also include WIOA, as well as if you have any business partners that are interested in being an OJT partner, I will provide my flyer in there as well so that they can contact me, and I'll be happy to explain the processes and how they can become partners with Rubicon. Oh, how could I forget to highlight? We also partner with the Workforce Development Board and EDD, as we mentioned in the previous meeting. And one of the things that we're starting to do, and you'll see more of, and I'll again put flyers in there, is on-site recruitments. Employers that are in the need of people to hire ASAP right now on the spot, and they are coming to the Concord AJCC, and they are conducting on-spot interviews, or at least scheduling interviews for the very near future, if not hiring on the spot. So if you have any participants that are in dire need of employment, please have them attend. And also, if for some reason you're not part of my distribution list, please put your email in the chat and I'll be happy to add you. Thank you. Any questions? Or
That
did I
was so much great information, Glorabelle.
no problem.
So, so Maya, are you in the Richmond office or the Antioch office?
I am in the Richmond office, and my colleague Martine is out of the Antioch office. We do both, a little bit of employment coaching and career advising.
Okay, okay. And so someone can just come into one of the Rubicon offices and sign up for services.
So there is an intake process to make sure that they're a good fit for our program. Because we get a lot of folks who come in who may have some challenges with addiction. They may have some challenges that would not make them eligible for our program, because we really are an employment-based agency. So our focus is on all the things Glorabel mentioned, and then connecting them either to immediate employment. And we didn't even mention this, Glorabel, but we also have a transitional employment program for folks who have had large gaps or who have been away for a long time and who need some skills that just can help them adopt some job readiness skills, right? Showing up to work on time, communicating with their managers, understanding how to onboard and how to turn in I-9 documents and how to deal with a payroll company. The basic things that a lot of us take for granted, they need help with. And so we also kind of figure out where's the right spot for this person. And so we work with them individually to figure out exactly where they are. And then we try to move up from there.
Hmm. So that transitional part, is that kind of part life skills training, like the items you mentioned, but are they also working and earning money at the same time, or?
Yes, they are. So the positions pay minimum wage.
Mhm.
And we have them in several departments. So we have some in our janitorial, on our janitorial team. We have one in maintenance and repair, another doing front desk, sort of like ambassador work. At the RSC, they have an intake specialist. That's also part of our TE program. In Concord, I think Greg is also on the call. I saw him make a comment in the chat. Greg is our career advisor in the Concord office. And so he also has a technology TE role where he helps people who are interested in working in IT. So we try to get as many different areas as possible. The program is 13 weeks long, and it is really, and part-time, and it is really designed to be a springboard for finding that dream job, right? So while they're in TE, we are working with them on their resume, cover letter, interviewing skills, and then the actual application process.
I would like to add that we also have TE opportunities with outside partners, other CBOs in Contra Costa County, so that we can place our participants outside of Rubicon and they could still learn and attain basic skills for employment. So thank you so much, Maya.
And if I may just piggyback off of Maya and Lori both, the unique thing about Rubicon is if someone does go to Rubicon community-based programs or workforce and isn't eligible, maybe they need to go and address, some addiction or mental health, they can be referred to the center, and then we can provide them the resources, and then when ready, refer them back to community-based programs or workforce services. So really, there's no wrong door at any of our 3 divisions. They will get connected to resources.
Fantastic.
So well said, Tiffany. Thank you.
Does anybody else on the call have any questions? You can just jump in because I might not see you if you raise your hand, but please. Because I'll ask more questions. So for the people that are working specifically with the re-entry population, how do you find, because I'm hearing, there's a very long process of kind of reintegrating, getting your IDs, adjusting to your situation and mental health challenges. How are people surviving and balancing finding housing and a place to live while they work through the process to be employment ready? What do you find is happening with these people? Tiffany?
For everyone. Here at the center, I think, just identifying what the individual is open to, because we all know there's different levels of being unsheltered. It can be a day by day, if sister, auntie, or significant other, if I look at her the wrong way tonight, I might have to go, or, it might be okay tonight. We never know. It might be, I may have some friends to stay with occasionally, or it could be, I want my own room. I don't want shared living and shelter placement. I don't want transition. So really identifying what an individual is open to, and then from there, seeing what resources we have available. I think the most important piece is our housing providers who are a housing first model is very helpful when getting individuals connected to behavioral health services so that they can be employment ready, and also, you know, really having a tight timeline and reentry plan before the funding runs out with our housing provider, and having a transition plan for the next level, the next stepping stone or long term. And some, you know, individuals become gainfully employed, are able to afford their own housing, and then some individuals transition to maybe shared living, renting a room, things of that circumstances, or some individuals are open to shelter placement and look to save up and so they can get on their feet. And again, you know, there's a tier system based off community supervision and qualifying criteria. So it's really unfortunate when just because someone is in a certain tier of community supervision, they don't qualify for funding. So it's definitely, you know, always different in our experience here at the center.
Yeah, I know that's always a challenge. And since this is kind of a housing, we have housing people here as well as workforce, finding that balance is really challenging. So these were such informative programs. Everyone has posted some information into the chat of how to reach them. There's contact information, there's websites, there's flyers that have been posted. This is a great resource and way to reach out for our participants, clients. So thank you guys for coming so much. It was really informative. We've got about 10-15 minutes left. If anyone has any announcements they would want to make, if they want to ask any questions, or, you know, if they have any specific issue that they're looking at with a client they're working with. No announcements.
I'm just going to make another announcement that I'm going to put in the chat. So again, we have for the homeless continuum of care, we have a couple different options for mailing lists. We have a ton of information, meetings, trainings, and things coming up. So just want to encourage folks to sign up for the mailing list, pick the ones that you want, because I personally send out like 40 gazillion emails. If you don't want to get all of those, just pick the mailing list that you want. But we do also, one of the things that we're always looking for are like success stories, particularly around people getting into housing. But if there are any success stories you have about partnerships between workforce and housing and getting somebody sort of into the next phase of their life, would love to be able to highlight that in our monthly newsletters that go out to over 2,000 people. And we can name check your agency and name check your staff. Like, just send us the good stuff and we will amplify that. So I'll put my email again in the chat in the mail.
All right, fantastic. Our next meeting is going to be on May 10th. Same time, same place. Jamie will be sending out the information. And thank you everybody for coming so much. Does anybody have anything else they need to add?
And one thing I wanted to add, I apologize. Way back in the day, we had sent out like calendar invites for our H1 meetings. And when we changed our rhythm of the meetings, but because they were external invites, like that got all screwed up. So I would say delete any calendar invites that you have from like the Contra Costa COC email. Register for this meeting and you can put it in your own calendar. And that way, if there's any changes, you'll get a notification through Zoom if there's any changes. Just flagging that there was some confusion this morning for our old schedule and this meeting. So just that.
Thanks, Jamie. And it looks like Spark Point is doing free tax preparation, which is awesome. Betty put the phone number there for appointments in Bay Point and Richmond, April 20th. Go ahead.
We're also doing ITIN applications. So individual taxpayer identification numbers for folks who don't qualify for a social security number. Call that same number if you'd like to get an appointment to apply for an ITIN. We're the only place in the county where you can do that. And then we're also doing foreign student and staff taxes. And again, the only place in the county to get those taxes done also.
Fantastic. Tiffany, you had something to say?
Yes, since we won't be coming together in this space until May, I do want to share that the Reentry Success Center is hosting a Clean Slate Day scheduled for Friday, April 28th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. in partnership with the Contra Costa County Public Defender's Office, where community members can come and access free services, including record expungement, early probation termination, and registration relief. In addition to all of the center services, we will be also offering all of our partner agencies to table and offer their services with all in attendance the day of the event.
Fantastic. April 28th, Clean Slate Day. Wonderful. Thank you. Maureen, you had a comment?
Yes, so I'm saying this on behalf of Dennis Rojas, vocational rehabilitation specialist with the VA. He is often in these meetings. Looks like he didn't make it today, but he sent me an email. I do not have a flyer yet, but I did post the information to chat. So they are hosting a Veterans Job Fair April 20th at the Concord Veterans Memorial Building. It's 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. for veterans, so veterans can enter an hour earlier than the general public, but at 11 o'clock it does open up to the general public. Everyone can come. He says last year they had 22 employers, 16 resource agencies, and 150 attendees. So as soon as he sends me the flyer, I will share that. And probably some of you are involved in that. It's Shelter Inc. and others. So anyway, share that information with your networks and then watch this space.
Thanks, Maureen. Ronell, did you have a comment?
Yeah, just wanted to reiterate about the resource fair on the 23rd of February in Pittsburgh at the Youth Development Center. We'll be over there providing services, and we have approximately about 50 agencies and partners and providers on site that day. We'll have a great time and also provide services for participants out there in the community. So just want to let you guys know about that, and also that I put both flyers in the chat, one in English and one in Spanish.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So thank you to all the speakers. This was amazing and informative and so interesting. And thanks to Maureen for all her hard work in setting up this group of wonderful people. So we'll see you guys again in May. Have a good day.
Hi, everyone.